Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss.
And we are here again at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne and Calhoun in Uptown New Orleans. Once a week, Margot and I meet here at Ted's, and we invite a member of New Orleans restaurant and food community to join us. And we invite them to bring along a friend, a plus one. We never know who that plus one's going to be. Sometimes it's a neighbor, a family member, fellow restaurant business colleague, guy who cuts their lawn, whatever it is. We never really know. But we're going to find out in just a few moments. We're going to be talking with our very special guest, and we're excited to have with us tonight the one and only Cam Boudreau, who he designs Poboys that include things like Jameson and lamb seasoned with Moroccan spices and sumac-scented carrots and just all kind of, I'm not going to steal his thunder.
New school Poboys.
That's it, new school
New
Poboys.
school Poboys. Yeah.
Here he is. You hear his voice.
What's up, y'all?
Cam, good to have you here.
Sorry to interrupt, Ray.
Cam.
That's great. So, welcome.
Hi.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself, a
Okay.
little bit about your history
Pre-Killer Poboys.
pre-Killer Poboys.
Well, I'm my early 30s. I'm born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. We had an interesting childhood. Both my parents were artists after their first careers, which is kind of strange. So we grew up in the French Quarter. When I went to elementary school at McDonough 15. Come full circle, I'm down there now. It's like my neighborhood. I love the French Quarter. But I did my teenage years in Uptown New Orleans, and I kind of got in the restaurant trade because I didn't like high school, especially Catholic high school, and I just started ending up in the industry. And cooking was the badass thing to do in a restaurant. I mean, you have to shave if you want to be a waiter and deal with people, and like you can play with fire and knives, and something dangerous could happen, and it's fun, right? It's just another night. This is when the Food Network was just like Emerald and Mario Batali 7 hours a day. I mean, this is when there was no real food celebrityism, or let's attain this status of celebrity by doing this TV show or something like that. I think cooking was still I think it was one foot in this craft that was practiced by rough, burly motherfuckers, and part of my French.
No,
and,
that's
great. In the belly
Bring
of the
it
beast. And that's what it was, and that was very romantic to me. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with life, but I like to stay out late and drink and party and carouse. So I said I kind of fell into. I started my first job actually was here uptown New Orleans at a deli, the Eve's Market on Cone Street.
Oh wow!
Which is like a long time ago in the mid '90s, and we played with food a little bit. It wasn't a chef per se, but I think that was So I think I've really only worked with food. I think I've only made commerce selling food to people in one.
You've never had another job other than food?
No, I've never really had a real job.
No paper route.
Real job.
Nothing,
That. I would say that's.
That's the best job.
In the xenophobic world of cooks, man, like 9-to-5ers, that's a real job. Like you guys are off on the weekend and giving me hell on a Sunday morning, like brunch, like America's excuse to get drunk on Saturday and Sunday morning early brunch, right? I'm an egg white omelet. Like fuck you, I'm hungover.
Yeah. Eve's wasn't that the
now,
first natural food
it was
kind
like
of
in the couple that owned it. They weren't a couple, but there was two women that owned it, Linda and Claudia, and they were really, really awesome. And they gave a bunch of neighborhood people. I didn't live that far uptown. Some of my friends worked there. I went to De La Salle. My friend that went to De La Salle with us got a job there. His brother had worked there, and then I started working there. And then I left school. I got in trouble with school, and it wasn't big trouble. It was just enough to where it was like, all right, well, what are you gonna do? And I kind of just left. I got a GED. I was like, I don't want to do high school. It just wasn't working out.
So you're working at Eve's when that happened?
Yeah, I was working at Eve's when that happened. So I was like, all right.
So what were you doing there?
Full time. We worked in the deli. We did the produce. Whatever, cashier. I mean, everybody did all positions there. But like I said, it wasn't really chef-driven positions. It wasn't the world of culinary arts. It was a little bit more mom and pop and humble than that. But it was fun to come up and mess with the produce, and we dealt with a lot of local farmers even back then. All of the citrus. Had this dude, Farmer Fred. When it was Satsuma grapefruit season, he'd drive his stuff in from Plaquemine Parish 3 times a week. We'd go and receive all. So I think that was like a nascent, like kind of implanted thing, was the bounty of Louisiana. I kind of saw it then. I don't think I processed it, as a chef, because I wasn't a chef then. And then I left that job. I think I took a summer to get high or something like that. I don't know. Work wasn't working either. I was, I partied a lot when I was younger. So then I started working at Arno's restaurant. Actually, I worked at Arno's Remoulade restaurant because they had an ad in the paper, and I'm like, all right. I started working there. I was a busboy there for like 2 months, and Chef Tommy, who's still there, I told Chef Tommy, I said, I want to work in the kitchen. Like, do you have any positions? And he started working me into both sides of the fair, Remoulade and Arno's, and that was my first real job in the old school. Like, you lift this pan, and it's been used by 70 guys for 70 years, and I mean that was it's something special still when I go back in there. Because we're right around the corner. My plus one actually has a lot longer of history at Arno's than me, and we're friends with people that work there. So sometimes every once in a while you need a stick of butter, or they need a stick, whatever. So it's still always awesome to go back
Real
there and see.
community.
Yeah.
So what'd you do exactly there?
I was a cook. I cooked different positions.
It's like a line cook? Or?
Yeah, line cook.
Sorry.
I went to school in New England Culinary Institute in 2005. I was trying to go to real school at UNO, and working in the kitchen and like going to college just wasn't working. And I had like 7 majors, like I think I would have stuck with the cultural anthropology major, but I probably wouldn't have a job right now. I'd probably still be in grad school. I mean, I don't know. But then what do you do?
Cultural anthropology.
You'd be like-
Now, what would that?
You'd be digging up arrowheads or something?
The
What are you
cultural
doing?
anthropology would probably entail doing a lot of writing and maybe doing ethnographs of some real obscure thing that I found interesting that, I don't know. What do you do with a cultural anthropology degree? I don't
You invent
know.
po' boys.
Maybe, yeah, I
Right.
was
Creative
going to
new
say
po' boys, that's
maybe
what you
there's some historical. I mean,
Maybe. I don't know. I was also
Okay.
like a business major and a history major and this, that, or the other. So I was a part-time student. But anyway, why I mention that is because I felt like I needed a credential. And I feel like society tells you need a credential. And so I went for the credential that made sense to me. And I was going to put cooking down and maybe get into academia. But then I was like, well, I can't pay my bills because I don't have, a job without cooking. That's the only thing I knew how to do. So I looked into New England Culinary Institute. They had an advanced placement program, and I felt that it was the quickest way to get to a credential for me. And then when I found out later, is high-end culinary schools, you buy into a network, and I realized I didn't like New England, and like their network is in New England. So
Okay.
So I have this I have associate's degree in the culinary arts, and I learned some stuff from school, but it was very expensive. I mean, I don't know. I probably should have just borrowed $10,000 from somebody and moved to New York and knocked on the back doors of restaurants. I did that after culinary school actually. So it gave me no further.
What would you? You
But-
moved to New York?
Yeah, I went to New York after Katrina.
How long?
4 years and some change. So
4 years.
Yeah, I was in
That's
New
a
York
long
for 4
time.
years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You made that sound. The way you said that, I thought he was going to say like 3 weeks or something. You took a
No.
long vacation.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
moved up there to work.
4 years. Okay.
so that your time in New York, was that as more influential in your culinary
Yes,
path
there
than
was.
school?
Exactly, and it wasn't. I hate to even bring up the culinary school thing now. I mean, it was good. It was a good experience. I learned stuff there. It's just it's very expensive, and people out there listening realize that a high-end trade school basically is going to be very expensive. So look at what you get after school, what the alumni does for you, the kind of networking you can do, and if you want to work. If they have networking that's international or in this areas that you want to work, then by all means go. It's a great education, but like I said, I mean, they really our alumni job boards for the school is skiing resort in New Hampshire. It's that's not me. I'm not. We're just talking about that. People want to go camping. I'd rather go to a Dirty's. I'd look at some graffiti and eat a $300 meal across the street. I mean, that's my ride. So I think I need some of that urban dirt in my life. I don't know why.
That was going to be my question. Well, you answered it, but I was going to ask you, do you feel that mentoring somebody young, if someone came to you, is it an individual basis, or do you enjoy bringing in someone young and eager and teaching them what you have
I wouldn't
to
be
offer?
where I'm at if people hadn't taken the time to show me stuff. And I mean, like I said earlier, but nobody gives you a manual. Let's say if there's 7 positions on the line, maybe in a corporate place you might have a manual, but nobody gives you, these are the steps you need to achieve to work this position. I mean, I think most cooks just kind of learn by, the tricks to make the plates happen to the chef's standards. You kind of learn that on the job. Now, deeper technique, ingredient knowledge, yes, a lot of that knowledge is passed on. Somebody shows you how to do something, and then maybe you learn 3 different other ways to do it, and you can make your own way to do it. But, I mean, I love showing, we have awesome staff, but it's very small. We have two employees at the Poboy shop. And when we can show them a new technique, it's great, because that means maybe 10 years down the road, they'll show it to somebody else. And
well, how is it different in New York than New Orleans? I mean, I'm originally from New York as a kid, and then in New Orleans now, love it. And I see a big difference culturally. How was it in the restaurant thing? I mean, was there a different attitude in the kitchen?
I mean, it is, and it's like a tough nut to crack. There's a lot of competition up there.
People rougher on you there?
I mean, I wouldn't say rougher. I mean, if you can't roll, if you can't make stuff happen, you're not going to, you can want to be a chef all day long. I mean, you're going to be making salads for 10 years. If that, I mean, you got to be able to make stuff happen, under the most undue of circumstances. It's New York. You got, case in point, like, I worked at this high-end hotel. The Standard was opened by Andre Balash. It's like, GQ's Best Dressed Man, 2004 or whatever. He was, and he always had, like, his friends, like Calvin Klein, coming in, like, giving all this criticism on all the food. It was so annoying. Like, we fucked up Calvin Klein's burger again. I don't know. The man is coming here to see how we can fuck up his food. Like, that's why he's here. He's friends with this dude. Like, it was like we always messed up Calvin Klein's. Like, this one guy, Paulie, we called him Paulie Walnuts. He always got stuck with that order, man. It'd be like,
Paulie Walnuts? Does he have small nuts?
No, it's
that's
just
from
kind of
Sopranos.
it's just kind of from The Sopranos, and he was a funny guy.
Did he have the hair for it or something? He had that?
No, he didn't. He wasn't. That's what they called. He was in a hardcore band, like hardcore punk rock band, in his teens, and they traveled the world, and that's what they called him in the band, and it stuck with him, like in his cooking job. So he had some interesting stories, and for some reason this dude he liked to drink, so I don't know how. Like, from the date of that place opened, he would steal like a 6-pack of beer every day from one of the coolers and just got so advanced at it. It's like their inventory never caught up with them, so they were always a 6-pack behind. We just drink on the line all day. Not us, just him. That was his thing. But
is that unusual
segueing.
in New York? I mean, to hear it
cooks
doesn't
and drinking
seem...
is not unusual at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I was going to say. But everywhere, or just... I mean, is that
Are you drinking in the French Laundry kitchen? Probably not. I mean, is everybody, working in this incredible standards by a humanist chef? No. Is it frowned upon? I mean, I don't let people drink on shift by me, but I'm just running a little sandwich shop, But, I mean, if you're trying to control 14 dudes in a high-pressure environment and one of them sneaking alcohol during the shift, I mean, if they can perform... what are you going to do, right?
Right.
Send them to rehab and not have your saute cook for 6 months and pay for that? No.
You'd
So,
be
and
sending
10% profit margin, so.
Well, I think it's time for a +1, isn't it?
Yeah,
Margo, don't
yeah.
you think?
Yeah, we've been all over the place. I mean,
No, this is good. This is good. No, but who is your +1?
My +1 is my business partner, fiance, and the most beautiful woman in the whole wide world.
Wow. We get to have the most beautiful woman in the whole wide world
know,
at our
right?
show.
Yeah.
Too bad it's radio. Nobody can
Keeps
see her.
working. That's the thing.
Okay, tell us your beautiful fiance's full name, please.
April Bello.
April.
Chef April Bello.
Chef April. Thank you so
Hello.
much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Is it BLLO?
W at the end.
W at the end. Okay. Oh, okay. So Jewish instead of Italian. No?
Who knows? I look Jewish, so I can tell those jokes.
Like
but
Sal Bello,
no.
I'm thinking.
She's going to be Boudreaux soon enough, so.
Yeah.
All right.
Bello came from St. Martinville, I guess. I don't know why or where or how
Oh, wow.
it turned into the W, but it did.
Is that
So
where
how'd
you're
you guys
from?
meet? Oh.
Sorry.
The Bellos came from St. Martinville via Italy, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so they added a W somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
Okay.
Probably illiterate or something. Yeah.
They wanted to sound a
So-
little more French. They didn't know. They should have added an AUX or something at the end. Yeah.
Bello.
Now, how'd you guys meet?
Well, we met at Arno's.
Yep.
In
met at
the late
Arno's?
90s, yeah. So
Wow.
that's where we
Yeah,
met.
back in, like,
Were you
98,
working at
99.
Arno's or were you a
I
customer?
was. No,
All right.
I was working there. I
Weren't you like the first?
I was the first female sous chef there.
Really?
Yeah. but
Wow.
the only, actually, still. But either way, I got into the industry just by taking the ferry across the river from Gretna and going to a little La Madeleine Cafe in Jackson Square and I think falling in love with the appearance of the cafe and the sound of a cash register. And I thought, oh, wow, I could actually get a job and have my own money to spend. So
How'd you
I
go
got a
from
job.
how'd you go from the ferry ride to sous chef?
Well, I was at La Madeleine, and then someone told me about, how much more money you could make cooking, which even though it's not that much money, it's that much money to a 16 or 17-year-old. So I, started asking around about restaurants hiring, thought it'd be a fun thing to do, but also like something to make me a little bit of money. And a friend of mine actually hooked me up with a job at Arno's, and the rest, it just kind of unfolded over the course of several years.
So were you a high school student then, or you dropped out? Or
I was in high school. I finished high school.
You finished high school? Okay.
Yeah. The Catholic school didn't work for me either. I wound up at Ridgewood in Metairie. So
right.
did some time there and then finished it out cooking all the way through. And then I wanted to be an artist, and one day was told that I would starve as an artist. And then I went to work at Arno's and looked at food and I realized that I don't have to starve. I can just keep cooking and travel the world, and I can eat the art afterwards and have all sorts of awesome things to play with that I probably couldn't afford otherwise. So,
well, that's like one of the boons of working in the kitchen, man. At least you can eat, right?
Yeah.
If it's like
you don't go hungry.
desiccated grit scrapings from a sheet pan 7 hours after they were served, at least you can eat. You know, you can put something in your belly.
That goes a long way.
Yeah,
I mean,
man,
if you don't have to worry about your next meal. That's
yeah.
But I wound up pursuing culinary school right afterwards, so I left for 5 years.
And where'd you go?
I went to Johnson and Wales University in Providence, Rhode
Oh,
Island.
no, this is after you guys met, and you already started dating by then.
No.
Oh,
Not
okay.
at all.
No.
Yeah,
So this
did
is
y'all
in
like
90.
each
This is like
other, or was it
97,
like
okay?
1997.
1997, 1998.
Okay, so you're both like teenagers at this point,
Yeah.
basically.
And so we go our separate ways. I'm like cooking, you know, and then I start doing I leave. I messed up on the job, I'm sure. Like I said, I like to party in my teens, and that's, you know, I mean, I'm not a bad person, but I just didn't do a lot of the traditional routes to life, right? You know,
Wait, we got to stop you and ask about the party because you brought it up like 12 times. So give us a good party.
Right,
story.
that's in New Orleans. If you
Yeah.
grow up
New
in
Orleans when raves
too,
were
I mean,
still
I
so
would
go
like
back
to
to
know.
the guys that were here telling you the patois guys are talking about everybody at the bar. They talked about it too, and it's like I think you get an advanced degree and partying when you're a teenager down here. I mean, you do it before people do it in college, maybe. I don't know, but we do it when we're teenagers.
Yeah, I went insane in college, but in high school, it was like it was so hard to get a six-pack out of somebody in the People's Republic of New Jersey.
The French
Down
Quarter's
here,
not New Jersey.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have a friend who lived right near here on Audubon, just right near Ted's, and he said when he was 13, he used to ride with his buddy on the handlebars of his bike at 13. They'd ride down to Chapatoulas, and they'd go through the drive-through, package good place, and get a case, on Friday nights,
I believe it.
and come home. And I was like, that didn't happen in Jersey.
Well, I mean,
a little different in New Orleans.
Well, I mean, I think they just changed the
No
drinking
hills.
age. I think like when I was 15, so the
Right.
drinking age used to be 18. So when we
So
were
it was
really
really like
younger,
12. It
you
was
just had to get
effectively
somebody.
12.
You just had
Yeah.
to get
We
somebody
were
to
all
pass for
grandfathered
18. And then there was. I mean, when we were in high school, there were certain bars you go to, and then I was always hanging out with like the freaks and the punks and stuff. So we had our own scene. I mean, we weren't trying to go to a frat bar on Maple Street. Don't worry,
Right.
that wasn't our scene at all. We would drink lurking in the corner downtown. It's like, which is so odd to me. We used to like, nothing ever happened to us, but we would like be out 4 a.m, drinking 40s, like 14 years old. It's quite odd. But no, that's not my life. I was trying to actually like bring it back to there's more to the story.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
So I started working. I worked at Stella for like 6 months. That was interesting. That was right before Scott rebuilt the kitchen, and he was just starting to see that he could have success. I think doing like this really like put together food with 18 garnishes and like Scott style or whatever. And I worked at Lucky Chang's. That was an interesting job.
Yeah,
and I did that for a while.
Wait,
that-
Lucky what?
Lucky Chang's.
Okay.
Oh, that predates me.
I think you would explain to Ray and people listening in case they're not familiar with
Lucky
Lucky
Chang's was a drag cabaret, and
Drag cabaret.
with a restaurant attached to it. There
Wow.
was in the mid '90s the concept premiered, and there was one in New Orleans, one in New York, and one in Miami Beach.
And
By
the
time,
one here was the first one, though.
it was the first
original.
one, yeah. And then by the time I got to it, they had bought it from the original owners, a couple that operated it, and they changed one of the vowels in the name to like A to the E or something
So
like
they
that.
don't have to pay for the
Right, but it was a
name
great
of-
space. It's on St. Louis. It's where Cafe Soul and the Paris Room is now,
Okay.
and what is her face? Jennifer Flowers had a bar there or
Oh,
something.
wow.
Yes, beautiful building. So we did like Asian Creole cuisine.
So like the waiters in drag too?
Well, the waiters, they all, and it would be like bachelorette parties would come.
Or like the
in.
chefs in drag too?
No, the chefs weren't in drag.
But it
and we,
wasn't. It wasn't just drag. It was like people living
It was a
as
cabaret.
women.
Yeah, it was mostly
and-
it was like transsexuals and drag queens and I don't know. There's like all different levels of being
Right.
Troy was the chef there at one point.
Yeah,
He dressed
actually,
in drag a couple times.
our landlord, who owns the Aaron Rose Bar, was the chef there. Adolfo Garcia was the chef at Lucky Chang's. Like a lot of
Adolfo Garcia was, I can't picture him in drag. That would be amazing.
Well, he
yeah.
definitely once again the
Yeah,
Yes,
but
it's
if you live in
shocking.
New
There
Orleans
was
long enough,
there
you'll
was
dress in
transsexuals and
drag.
drag queens that were the servers there, but anybody that was doing like grunt work was not in drag. That was not the
Right,
scene.
right, right.
We were
But it
making
was
this
so
food and
much
selling it to
fun,
people.
right?
But yeah,
was
it was a fun
as
thing,
much
you know?
fun to work there as it was to go in?
It was quite interesting. It was the I think it was like the end of the fading. The guys that were kind of owning it were running it into the ground, and it was like a real like kind of Anthony Bourdain, like they were back to the drugs and the partying. Yes, that's definitely what they were doing. Like it was crazy. We would open the bar. I was friends with the bartender. We would open the bar for change with like $100 bill, a 1, a 10, and 2 dimes, until like more money came in. That was it. Where the owners, I don't know, they're nowhere to be found. Like we would place orders and the food vendors would be like, yeah, you guys are like 60 days overdue, so we're not bringing you delivery. And this is like 4 in the afternoon, and I was working for this Dutch guy and he disappeared, and they actually left. I was in charge of that kitchen for a couple months, and that was quite an odd experience.
Wait, for a couple months?
For a couple months.
You were really young, weren't
I was
you?
very young.
How
I was
old were
like
you?
20 or 21. I don't even think I was street legal.
Wait, and
So did that lead you to wanting to have your own place, running a kitchen, and watching those people?
I don't know.
I mean,
I
when
was-
did you first? Did you always think I want my own place, or were you just enjoying?
I mean, I was
the
definitely living in the
learning and-
moment then, and wow, I'm usually not ever at a loss for words. It's just, let's take a second here. All right. No, I don't know what I was thinking then. I was just living life. I was having a good time. I was living life. No, I had not a lot
Enjoying the moment.
I was enjoying the moment, and the ambition was just to make this project happen, and that's what I did. Was it coming from some serious business standpoint? No, I just happened to be the dude. The chef disappeared, and this.
so chef just. What do you mean he disappeared? Like, was he killed? Like, where did
No,
he go?
he wasn't killed. He was a Dutch guy, but he had lived in San Francisco and he moved to New Orleans. He had like lived this American dream. He had a wife and a home in the suburbs, and he always talked about that, the American dream. I lived the American dream, and I shit on it or some shit. That's not his accent, but he had this great Dutch
That didn't
accent.
sound Dutch at all. Yeah.
No, that's my story. Okay, so that's what I'm sticking to. So this is the rest of the story.
Okay.
So he leaves the wife. He starts dating this younger girl. He was in his 30s. This girl was in her early 20s. Moves her out to New Orleans. She's out here for a week. She gets pregnant. So they have to move back to California. So he literally, and I knew this was going to go down. He left him a letter. He was like, let Cam run the show. He can do it. And he prepped me. He said, you can do this. But I'm like, all right.
So you
I
thought this
have
was like
faith
for
in
a
you.
weekend while he goes straighting stuff out, or did you
No,
know
I
this was
knew
going
it
to be
was
for months?
for
9
months or whatever.
Somebody's pregnant. That's not
Yeah.
Oh, 9 months. Yeah.
Well, no, it was permanent. It was like it was gone. He didn't give them any notice. So I mean.
Wait, so what were you doing before that?
Well, I was the sous chef.
You were sous chef.
yeah, I
Okay,
was
so you're a
like
20-year-old sous chef.
Yeah, at a not too reputable place.
Okay.
I want to know: were you ever so shit faced that you something crazy happened? Because I saw some crazy stuff go down in that place.
Well,
Just fun. I mean, nothing that's gonna
we met
break
Dr.
your
Ruth.
marriage, your engagement, but
No, it was cool. What was the same? It was a kitchen environment. It's like rough heterosexual guys working back in the kitchen. It wasn't like it was some like weird
nobody dared the rough.
Oh well,
waiter to
no. The trannies was, obviously
kiss
they're
the
making
tranny in front of
highly, like suggestive comments on like if we get the new cook, right? So he gets shit for weeks because like, oh look at you, But I mean, no, it wasn't anything too.
You didn't
crazy.
accidentally, hook up with a waiter and a waitress and then find out it was really a waiter, did
No.
you? No. Okay.
No,
They didn't fool you, the trannies.
no.
They weren't that convincing.
They were some of those
When you grow up
women
in the
were
French
beautiful.
Quarter,
You can tell the
all
difference.
right, you can tell the difference for the most part. Okay, I
When
mean,
I-
I've been trying to decipher, pre-sexual. I mean, since a young child, like, is that a man or a woman, mommy? So like I said, I had a special experience growing up down here, and where I grew up at least. So
Now, your
it wasn't-
parents, you mentioned your parents were artists, right?
Yeah.
So what careers did they have before they were artists?
doctor and a lawyer.
A doctor and
Yeah,
a lawyer,
doctor
and they
and
a
both
lawyer. Wow.
at the same time did they leave the
Same
profession.
time, man, yeah,
so they
they
went
went-
1, 2, 3, and they jumped in the water like over their heads
I think
into art world.
there was particular life circumstances that I'm
Okay.
not going to get into, but
Okay.
yeah, they left their careers essentially, and then my dad
Did they make a go of it? I mean, like, were they able to?
Yeah, my dad was really successful
Okay.
at art. He got hooked up. He used to do Barrister's Gallery with his
wow.
partner Andy Antipis. So he did the folk art in the back, and then he hooked up with these House of Blues, like the personality that started the House of Blues, Isaac Tigert, and Hard Rock Cafe. Was really into their art. So
He
curated.
lived on a train. Does he?
Well, no, he had the train,
Had the
right?
train?
He's very trained. This guy is like he lives like he donates Mercedes to the Sai Baba. I don't know. This guy's got money, and
So your dad was hooked up with.
yeah, they were doing business together, and basically
the
they would
folk art,
curate.
all the
They
art.
sold a bunch of art to the House of Blues, and then they would do
Nice.
fun stuff like go buy a juke joint on the side of the road in Mississippi, disassemble it, put it in a House of Blues. So that was kind of that was like the mid '90s when that was going down. Early '90s, yeah. So he was very successful, and then he just kind of dropped out,
Dropped out.
So-
So what do you do?
Just
Well,
couldn't paint anymore. I
A
don't
mystery.
know. Mystery, right? What is it?
Have you seen him lately?
Yeah, no, I
okay,
see him all the time.
okay,
It's just,
okay.
what did he do? He just, I don't know. You can tell he just
He's
stopped
retired.
doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that's pretty amazing for people to change their career, and that has to be influential in a positive way. I mean, I would admire that because that's not an easy choice. You have to be passionate, and I mean, it's kind of like being in the restaurant business. You have to be passionate, a little crazy, and so
Well, you gotta
that,
have the
that could
passion
be,
that's gonna keep you, standing on your feet 17 hours dealing with people. Your staff, the customers, the people you buy stuff from, people you sell it to. So, yeah, let's talk about sandwiches.
Yeah, I was
Let's talk
gonna,
about
but
sandwiches.
first we gotta do a book of questions. I wanted to hear about Killer Poboy though. But can we do
Yes.
book questions first, maybe?
Yes. Okay. What you do is this is a book from when y'all were probably
Before they were born.
before you were born. No, in the 80s, a popular book, and you tell us your favorite number between 1 and 173,
Okay.
and then you have to answer the highly intellectual, revealing question.
Probing.
Answer to one of these
It's
questions.
philosophy. So I can get weird with that.
All right, don't worry, it's not. But we like
Let's start
weird.
with the plus one. 'cause
Yes, you haven't.
She's been-
So, what's your favorite number?
19.
19. Okay, you gonna tell us why 19, or?
It's just one of those numbers that I don't know. I think things become our favorite because we see it and it repeats itself, and then we can convince ourselves that I'm in the right spot because of that number. It's one of those little romantic things that I started when I was a kid, and everywhere I look is that number because it's under the
Right.
number 20, and it's a pretty common occurrence.
19 is a. Well, let's see if it's lucky for you tonight. Okay. You have the chance to meet someone with whom you can have the most satisfying love imaginable, the stuff of dreams.
She's going, I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sadly, you know that in 6 months the person will die. Knowing the pain that would follow, would you still want to meet the person and fall in love? What if you knew your lover would not die but instead would betray you?
Oh.
Okay. This is one of the deeper
Yeah, that's
questions
pretty
we've
deep.
gotten.
Yeah, not only is it deep, but it's morbid. And also, I've met the love of my life. I mean,
Yeah.
he's here. He's not dying
You have
in
any
6
announcements
months.
for us?
Unless he's getting his tooth fixed tomorrow, so we know he's
Get my
not going
tooth
to die
pulled
from
tomorrow.
a tooth
Hopefully
abscess.
People die from that.
Yeah.
People
But
do die
he's
from
got
that.
his appointment tomorrow, or his appointment. So,
I got my
You may only have a day with them.
no,
But
well,
it would be
That's
worth
it,
it,
man.
right?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's sweet.
What
Thank
if he
you.
betray you in 6 months?
Would you still put up
Ow.
with it?
Absolutely. Even if I knew that he was going to betray me, because it'd be fun for 6 months, and then he'd be gone.
All right. That's real love. I like to hear that.
Fair enough.
Congratulations. You got a good lady there.
Aw.
All right, now it's your turn.
Who is this
What you-
dude?
Oh,
I
I gotta
know,
answer a
it's-
question too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was on the New York Times bestseller list.
Why the book of
I
questions?
don't
I've
know.
heard y'all do that before.
Uh,
Is that you guys?
No,
Yeah.
our
The producer?
The producer.
The Wizard of
told-
Oz over
no,
there
he
with the
said,
Bluetooth.
He said
the Bluetooth,
nobody
keypad?
wants to hear us talking about food for an hour straight, so we got to break it up.
Yeah,
and
it
he-
mixes things
we were
up.
throwing things out there, and this came
Cool.
up.
All right.
So we're
Well, I
open
mean, it's different than,
suggestions
like, you
for
know-
every
Let's
20,
hear the next
20
one.
minutes from a real
Okay,
person in the culinary way.
one between 1 and what?
173, I think.
Let's go 173. Let's get the last
Somebody's
one.
at oh
isn't it?
nah,
Somebody
I
already
told
did
you the wrong number.
173?
173.
Okay.
When was the last time you stole something,
Oh.
and why haven't you stole anything since? Well, that's assuming that you never
When was the
stole.
last time I stole something? I'm gonna have to wait think about this because it's probably been a really long time. So, a physical thing that I stole.
come on, when you were hanging out with when you were a punk rocker going to De La Salle.
But he had a job. He could pay for his drugs.
I mean, we stole. Well, I never stole like drugs from anybody. I'm not standing.
That'll get you
go
hurt.
around
You won't want to
stealing
say
drugs.
that on the air.
Right. Yeah. And
You stole April's heart.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I'm stumped, man. What do I say? I'm on TV. You know, like I can't. I'm not trying to cover up anything.
Yeah.
But what did I steal recently and lately? I'm trying to think of maybe there's some humorous example of something that makes stealing not so wrong. I don't. You know,
Sometimes I take
All
an
right.
extra packet of sugar from the coffee shop when I know I'm not going to use it. I don't know why.
Just to steal
Just
it?
to do it. I don't know.
Just to do it?
Yeah.
You got a little...
I only do it at CC's, not
well,
at PJ's.
now that I own a small business, the last thing that I can even think about is stealing something from anybody. And I don't think I've been about stealing anything from anybody in a long time. So I'm sure the last time I stole something was probably something extremely minor. You know,
All right.
But I think that's a good point, because I was going to ask y'all. Well, let's get back.
How about this? When was the last time somebody
business.
stole something from your business? You have an
That you caught.
employee that
Well,
you caught?
Well,
tip
we
jar.
got our tip jar stolen.
Tip jar. When did that
glass
happen?
tip
The whole thing.
It's about maybe 6 months ago. It's just on a counter.
How much is in it typically that time of night?
Well, I mean, we don't leave all the money that accrues, and we don't
Oh.
make that much money in gratuity. But I mean, there was like knickknacks in it, you know, and
Yeah, we'd been tipped in like
stickers
How
an
big
and-
is a
and
tip
that was
jar?
in there.
This was a fairly big jar, and
Like-
when
like-
the video was like this big, and the video was reviewed, the guy literally took it, put it under his shirt.
That's what I was wondering. Put it on your
And
shirt.
well,
yeah.
and it was like he was interacting with me, and
While
you know,
he did
we
it,
sell
like
these
a
like
magician.
weird, you know, new school po' boys in the back of the bars. Guys come up and asking me for a hamburger and a
He's
hot
a
dog. He
magician.
was
Is
trying
Zadak? Was it Zadak?
No, it wasn't Zadak. it was some scam artist scumbag that, you know, hopefully got beaten up by the next people he stole from, because he was obviously not from this area. He had an accent. He had a Northeast accent.
Hey!
No, he did though. He was from Jersey or New York or something.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. They're the
Or
he
worst.
was obviously out.
They're the
like, trying to
worst.
Scam
Yeah,
somebody.
the
I mean,
Ninth
that,
Ward
that
too,
was
yeah.
his whole thing. Yeah. Well, I could tell the Ninth Ward yet from
Yeah.
from a
I
Jersey
can't.
area.
I can't. I was at a restaurant once, and I was sure this woman was from Edison, New Jersey, and then she'd never
Nice.
been outside of New Orleans.
Well, because it's unexpected down here, right? But it's
Yeah.
like real common.
Well,
you know?
Wikipedia says Yad is indigenous to New York and New Orleans.
Right.
There's a whole article that includes those two cities. And
Really?
why
They do sound a lot
apostrophe
alike.
AT?
Oh,
Yep.
come
Yeah.
on.
I'm
See,
not
that's
kidding.
why I don't... Wikipedia. What
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah, who believes them? I
Yeah,
wrote
the
that.
internet, right?
I wrote
Yeah.
it.
I used to I used to take the ferry to New Orleans to pretend like I was from New York just to talk to tourists.
Nice.
And
You
Jimmy
sound a
Zink.
little New York, actually. A little bit.
Gretna.
So...
Yeah. Okay, but
Let's
let's
get
hear
back.
about the po' boys.
Why
though.
po'
That's
boys?
like the
First
Jersey
of
of
all,
New Orleans,
why
you know,
po'
Gretna.
boys? And what inspired y'all to start your business?
All right, so why po' boys?
Why not?
Well, kind of why not, and also
Did Aaron Rose come first, and then the po' boy, or the po'
Aaron
boy
Rose
come
came
first, and
first.
you found Aaron
Yeah.
Rose?
All right. So the basic story is the quick backup of the bio. All right, I'm at Lucky Chang's. I started working for GW Fins down here, and I worked there
Oh.
off and on for a couple years, and some other little jobs. And then I go to school, and Katrina happens, and I come back down here. I'm actually at culinary school when Katrina happened. It was quite traumatic. My family was scattered. I didn't know where the fuck they were, and took a fair. So I needed to come back here to do things like scrape this debris off my mom's ground. She just bought a house, closed on a house in Old Araby in
wow.
early 2005.
Oh.
So she got rapid rise of water in her house, decreased. It wasn't as bad as some people in St. Bernard Parish, but it wasn't as bad. It sucked. It was a pain in the ass to deal with. So I came back down here, and knowing that I wanted to move to a bigger market city, New York or San Francisco. Right. Wizard of Oz. Yeah. So I ended up going to New York, so I had some friends up there, and then I did a couple different jobs in a lot of different kind of environments up there. So my rounding was kind of getting well-rounded. I was doing different positions, management positions, different styles of dining, fine dining, casual dining. It's New York, so I walk dogs in the park, and I deliver caviar on the subway, part-time jobs. So I moved back here in 2010, and I started working at the Green Goddess downtown.
Oh, I love the place.
And I was their sous chef at night.
Love it.
So, and then I started drinking back at the Aaron Rose, hanging out there.
Where
She
I
was working
slinging
there.
my tacos.
She was selling tacos in the back.
You were selling tacos at Aaron Rose, and that's how you
And
reunited?
Yes.
You hadn't seen
And-
each other all these
I was
years?
throwing my
not
taco
for
right
a
at
while.
him.
You had lost touch completely all these years?
Yeah.
From like, what is it, like 2005 95?
No, like the late
seen
90s.
each other a couple
We had
times.
seen
Late
each other
90s.
He
in
worked at
passing.
GW
Yeah.
Fins, I worked at Arno's.
Oh,
He
so you had
needed
to run
borrow
each other
crab
on
meat,
that,
or I needed
yeah.
to borrow cream. There
Okay,
was always
okay.
that, like, hey, how you doing? Like,
I didn't have her phone
Thanks.
number. I wasn't,
You know.
we
All
weren't
right.
like exchanging
But you remembered her
emails or
name and you remembered each other and all that.
Facebook poking and stuff. We weren't
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think I was
poking.
on Facebook yet.
I don't think anybody uses the poke function anymore. Do they even
Oh,
have
no.
that?
Just-
It's
What
awful.
I
Yeah.
don't even know
We were
what
just
poke is,
industry
but-
buddies, though. I mean, like, that's, you know.
All right, so you got reunited there at Aaron Rose. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm working downtown again. She's living and working down here, and we the owners of the bar. And the funny thing about the Aaron Rose Kitchen, a lot of people don't know. For a while, all they had was like tater tots and stuff back there that the bartenders would fry up. But that's not the nature of the kitchen. Juan's Flying Burrito started in that kitchen.
What?
Yeah,
You're kidding me.
gospel truth.
Wow.
Swear to God.
Wow.
Prototype for Juan's Flying Burrito. Now, do I know the whole story, like how they went from whatever they were called, and I'm pretty sure they were Juan's Flying Burrito back then, but how they went from that to their 5 different restaurants here? No, I can't outline that for you, but I do know the history and lore of that. And there have been a couple different chefs doing projects back there. There was, in 2001, 2002, and parts of 2003, there was a guy doing like noodles, Pacific Rim cuisine. It's called Mahalani. He was doing some noodle salads, some noodles and broth, some stir-fried noodles. It was a little noodle house. There was a little Greek grill back there. There was
And the
a
owner
guy.
was a chef.
Yeah, the owner was
in
a
his
chef.
previous life, he walked out at Bella Luna and walked over to Molly's on the market
Right.
and said, I need a job, bro. And
That's the,
worked his
yeah.
way up his right-hand man to Jim Monahan.
It's a
and
great
got
couple.
Out of kitchens.
We are blessed
They're
by
awesome.
having a really great couple as landlords. They run the Aaron Rose Bar. They were bequeathed the bar by Jim Monahan, who you probably know about. I don't know if you're familiar with Jim Monahan. Jim Monahan was like this big downtown character. He owned a lot of bars. He was very, very large.
Oh, was he the mafia guy? No.
No, I don't
No.
think he was a mafia
Oh,
guy.
different,
But
okay.
he was an Irish.
No. But there was a guy with an Irish name. He was
Irish?
Italian.
Yeah, he was Irish. I think he was full-blooded Irish, actually. I think
I'm
he,
thinking of Jim Moran. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, you're thinking
totally
Diamond,
different.
Studs
Diamond.
Moran.
Yeah.
You put
No, that's a whole other
That's-
story.
that's
That was
like
like
a
La
generation
Louisiana
earlier, yeah,
restaurant
yeah.
on. I think that's the Penthouse Club. I think that property is vacant. Actually, I think it's on Iberville. That was
Yeah.
the place, La
Yeah.
Louisiana restaurant that the gangsters used to hang out at.
He put a diamond in your food every once in a while and stuff. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
I
They-
digress.
they were bequeathed the bar by Jim Monahan when he died. They were long-term employees. Troy, the husband of the couple, was a chef by trade. Dropped out of that to get into the bar business. So years down the road, he's let his kitchen be used by operators who were doing more handmade food. I think after Katrina, he did some renovations and was just like, I don't want to deal with a tenant because it's a very small space. It's like 60 square feet we rent back there. I mean, it's
60 square feet. Okay,
60,
so
It's a
70
6
lot
by
of us trying
10
to play
yeah.
Tetris that many times in any given day and make things fit.
Tetris.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's a
real
really-
life Tetris.
I
We
mean,
have
when
a
you say
storage
60
unit down
square
the
feet,
street
that
for
includes
our,
storage
like,
and
triplex for
that's
our-
your
Well,
refrigeration and
we
everything.
have the footprint
Yeah.
of what we lease.
Right.
Okay. Take everything out of that is probably about 70 some odd square feet.
And that includes everything.
The footprint, right?
All
I mean,
the
we have
hardware.
some storage
and
overhead.
That's for everything.
Yeah, we got a very small kitchen.
Plates even and all that.
We don't have
We don't have
plates.
plates.
And it's amazing.
Oh.
No, we
they
rent a
make a
of course.
great product in a T9C spot.
That is awesome.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, tell us about it because we're running out of time.
Yeah,
I'm
we never
dying
really
to hear
got to
about all
that,
the
so-
alcohol-based
All right, so what-
meats that you have. Okay.
So the short story is that he said, "Do you guys want to do something?" And we thought about it for a while, and then eventually said, "Yes, we want to do something." And we talked about what we were going to do, and I had this Poboy project, not Killer Poboys as it's known by the public now. I had a Poboy project for a while, and I was thinking about all the different ways to speak our story in food through Poboys, and
Speak your story through Poboys.
I came to realize that iceberg lettuce and tomatoes out of season and Hellman's mayonnaise weren't going to tell our story. So we were like, maybe we shouldn't do Poboys because I thought, and I'm still waiting for the backlash to people to come tell me what you sell is not a po' boy. It's not dressed. It's not on this. It's not on that. And I'm ready for
And we've
all
been
the
learning.
arguments
No
against
one's
that.
done
Nobody's done that yet. So
No one's
Good, good
which
for
is
you.
fine because I have rebuttal. I mean, I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know.
What's your rebuttal? Let's hear it.
Well, let's see. Born and raised.
Yeah.
Second. The original po' boy, as we know it, was coined. The term was coined referring to leftover fried potatoes and leftover beef drippings, which has
Right.
no lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise on it
There you
whatsoever.
go.
And growing up, every time something new was put on New Orleans French bread, it became a po' boy. You know,
Yes.
as far as I know, like. And so let's have. You want a hamburger or you want a hamburger po' boy? right? So that was like having it on French bread.
But even our competition, even we're new school Poboys, so we don't really have any direct competition. All of our indirect competition, like Parkway and all them, have been awesome. They've been so receiving and like open to the.
Yeah, but they're like
they're
iconic.
Well,
you know?
I mean, there's nobody else that's got a dark and stormy pork belly po' boy.
Yeah,
You're it.
The booze.
No one else is soaking pork in rum before they make
the
a po' boy,
booze
right?
came because we're in a bar and like just made sense. I don't know. I thought
So it's
maybe
like
we could
whatever's
get
left
extra
over the
publicity.
night?
Well, we have a good relationship with Old New Orleans rum. And no, we don't use like a
it's
match
good.
shot
The backwash
to make. We don't
yeah.
use the match shot to make match shot marinated crab claws. No, we don't do that there. Like,
Absinthe? Have you used any
sir,
absinthe?
we have marinated these crab claws in the toilet basin for you tonight. So they're at perfect 62-degree temperature.
We need to figure out how to use absinthe though, because those guys
Yeah.
at Cat had.
I'll tell the AB. No.
Yeah,
Can you call that the Ray now that I gave you that idea?
Huh?
Can you call it the Ray now that I gave you that
The
idea?
match shot
if you
marinated
end up
something
using
now.
the
No, he
absinthe.
wants you to say use the absinthe, but it's kind of tastes like licorice or Pernod or something.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think it
essentially
would
what
be.
it is.
Oh, you already have one?
foreign-
It wasn't
No.
my idea. Oh.
You'd have to do like.
Well,
a slaw.
the booze came because really because I was like, we're in a bar, and the Jameson grilled cheese, which you referenced earlier, it's not
Yeah.
a po' boy, it's a grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
I'd been tasting at the Green Goddess. We were getting these whiskey wash cheeses, and I thought they were incredible. But they're like $14, $15 a pound wholesale. So it really didn't make sense to melt them in a grilled cheese sandwich. So I was never to achieve that. But eventually we started buying just some really. Right now I use Hook's cheddar from Wisconsin. It's a family-run dairy. It's really, really great sharp cheddar. And we build the sandwich. We have an atomizer with Jameson in it, and we just put about a quarter ounce of Jameson in each sandwich, and it
Quarter ounce,
it
okay.
achieves this balance of being this aromatic backdrop to the butter, the bread, and the cheese. And
So if somebody didn't know there was Jameson in it, would anybody be able to say that's Jameson, or they'd say that there's something in it, but we don't know what it is?
The texture of the bread changes a little bit because it
Okay.
gets a little wet, and then we grill it up. I mean, probably not, but it's not a gimmick. I actually use it, in there. I mean, we buy Jameson and we
People
roll
come
through.
there just for it.
Yeah.
So
Well-
and repeat business. So
I know we have. I have two questions. Do you have any plans to expand already? I mean, are you happy in the environment?
we have
I mean,
potential for growth where we are right now for at least another few months. But we're talking and thinking and brainstorming what the next move is
Yeah.
going to be. But
We're
there's
not
going to be
sure
a
what
next
it's
move
gonna
at
be.
some point.
I mean, we've
So what's your
gotten-
agreement with Aaron Rose? Is
But
it
you're
like
happy.
you have a lease with them?
I want to
or-
hold. Yeah, I
we
mean, I'd
want
like to
that
hold
forever.
that kitchen there for as long as I can. And if I got to move we got to move
Yeah.
Killer Poboys out of there and put something else in. We will. I mean,
We love our landlords.
Yeah, we
we
love our
love
landlords.
our,
It's a great
our
spot, you know.
clientele. We love the location. It
It's
all
a
makes
great
sense.
location too. Yeah.
And it's nice to have a real local. It's
Yes.
always been a local hangout, even though it's in the center of the quarter.
oh, it's the French Quarter
So
too.
y'all are,
I mean,
it's a nice fit that
Yeah.
y'all are there, and
Yeah, I mean, Angie was born and raised in the quarter. That's Troy and Angie are the owners, but so it fits with that. The fact that we're all from here, but also the fact that we got service industry in and out of there all day. We started drinking there around the same time.
before you ever thought about being in there,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
just
because
you
it
enjoyed
is
it.
that locals. It's like the locals' living room, right? And
all right, it's
it-
local
it makes
prices, a
sense.
fun atmosphere. Everybody can belly up and be a
no-
local if they want to.
And it's
pretentiousness
welcoming to
involved.
tourists too, though. I mean,
Right.
people are. It's a great spot because everybody that goes in is made to feel like they're getting great food and a great drink and hanging out with good people, and you don't feel like you're an outsider coming in. I mean,
Right.
it seems like a
Well,
welcoming
you get
spot, but
you get somebody with half of a desire to have some adult fun, and they go into Bourbon Street and they're like, "This is like Senior Frogs in Cancun. I don't want to be at this shit." And they wander 30 yards off of Bourbon Street and walk into a bar like the Aaron Rose down there, and it's like there's real people there. It's not just shot girls and like frat boys and bachelor parties. There's real people in there going about their day, and if their day happens to be them on vacation drinking in the bar all day, then so be it. But you meet so many different people there, and like downtown, we love being downtown. Our growth plans involve being in downtown New Orleans, French Quarter, Marigny. We have no. I don't think we have much of a desire to get out of that neighborhood.
You live in.
Yeah,
French
we live
Quarter,
in the
too?
French Quarter, so
behind
it's,
Joe's one cellar.
we live on Dauphine Street. Yeah,
All right.
it's 5 blocks away from the sandwich shop.
Oh, that's great.
all right. I just
Now-
want to fit in one more question.
Good.
Sorry.
Good.
When y'all are creating your po' boys, do they evolve as time goes on from your own tasting it, or from feedback from people coming in, or is it like you just do it and it?
No, it's definitely an evolution. I don't think there's
They're
been
usually
one.
inspired by someone or something first.
I don't think there's been one item on our menu that just like happened, and then that's it, right? Like that's it. Not changing, you know. I mean, I don't think as chefs we work like that, you know. I mean, everything's kind of evolving, and we use a lot of great local products.
How about failures? If you had any just flat out failures, like you were excited about something, you tried it and it just sucked, and you offered it anyway and it sucked.
The Dogaletta?
Dogaletta.
Dogaletta.
Is that like a muffalata? But
Liked it.
Yeah, it was like
hot dog.
It was two natural casing, like New York Dirty Water Dog, the Sabrett brand, which is like what they use, you know, up in New York at Grace Papaya and stuff. Olive salad, provolone. We had like shards of ham.
Sounds good.
So it's crispy
People
ham
liked
pieces
it,
and Creole mustard and banana peppers. It was good. It's just, it kind of, I don't know, like
it was a salt dog. Really.
We start to hit our groove, and I felt like we were getting a lot of press. We get a lot of press, and like we have no PR person, we have no advertising person. We'll be in Bon Appetit next month. We had 2 sentences in Playboys in January.
Wow.
Really
Congratulations.
You were on Chopped too, weren't you, in November?
I was on Chopped, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, do you get a lot of feedback for that? Do people come in because of that show?
I mean,
or
here and there, man.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I mean, my Chopped story is tragic. I cut my finger in the first round.
You chopped your finger?
I chopped my finger, and I didn't finish my plate. And I probably had, I probably had the strongest like stuff to go on the plate. I just couldn't give him the plate, and I'm saying that because
blood
I
all
was
over
there.
it.
But that's a good story.
It was split
Come
second
on,
decision making.
I mean,
I didn't know if there was blood on the food or not because I was cleaning my wound in a sink when the time ran out.
There was no blood on.
I mean, it was like really.
Did they show that on your show when you were on it?
Well,
I didn't watch the episode.
they edited it up. It's episode. It's called For Saki's Sake. That's what the episode name is.
For
I don't know.
Saki's Sake?
Season
For
10,
Saki's
episode
Sake.
9
The
or some
thing
crap
is,
like that.
the day after it aired, you know, he was really nervous leading up to it. But the day after it aired, it was amazing to see the support from all of our friends, all of our family, people that we didn't even know as well, just coming in and ordering sandwiches and being like, man, you know, like either empathizing with them or being like, it's all right. We could tell the judges didn't want to cut you, because that's true. But you know, like it was really, it was awesome. People saw it and they knew that that's not that's not his entire.
That's a small
like,
part. I mean,
experience. One day.
So how long
wanna
was the actual thing that you're on air that got edited down to one episode? I mean, was it hours or was it?
Yeah, I mean, you film for hours.
Hours,
It's
okay.
Yeah,
But they make it look like it's a lot shorter time period when it's on,
Oh,
right?
it's the magic of TV,
Right,
man.
right.
I don't know. You probably do TV. You got written a book, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
probably sure you've done TV, some TV spots before,
Well, yeah,
right?
they made a movie thing, yeah.
Snap your fingers, and you know, it's like they're trying to sell a product. You know, they're trying to sell ad space. They want to make an exciting show. If it was just a bunch of like, you know, remember when Food Network was airing those like American Culinary Federation competitions, and it's like it's the competition. There's these guys working in these little box kitchens next to each other for hours, and it's the most boring thing in the world, right? I mean, maybe the unveiling of the dish is exciting. So I mean, without a little drama, they don't have a TV show, you know. Because that's what it is, and like, you know, people, it's exciting. It's because we've never had the chefs never had a role in American society to talk and to be the chef. Like, we're the chef. We are the people that cook your food, and you know. So and so now it's new, and people are like, it's a celebrity thing, you know. And it's I think most people that really working chefs that are day in day out making food for not very large salaries, or small business owners who are making very small profit margins. I don't think want to achieve that goal of being this celebrity figure that's on TV and constantly going for the next this, that, or the other. You know, I don't want that.
Yeah. Do y'all
I'd rather be a local celebrity.
Yeah,
than,
I mean, what do you guys do when you're not cooking? You've talked a lot about food and restaurants. So do you guys dance? You origami? Like, what do you do?
Well, we're in our first year of business, so you
don't have any free time.
It's a lot of catching up on paperwork because we didn't take a loan out to start this business. Like, we started thugging it out.
When you guys fell in
gig
love,
after
though, like when
gig.
you guys were, you didn't just fall in love in the kitchen, right? I mean, like you had to have dated a little bit and stuff, right? What'd you do?
We dine. I mean, that's what we do.
You go out.
When we're going to go out and not, you know, do anything that is pertaining to work, we dine. That's
And where do you like
pretty
to
much what we
dine?
do.
I mean, you probably don't get much time now, but when you did, where were you
We're
going out?
trying to go to every week or every other week. We try to have a date night and go out and eat. Sometimes it's like a food truck. Sometimes it's you know, sit down restaurant.
you have favorites that you go back to, or you
We've been
just
trying
try
to go to
different
new
places?
places.
Yeah.
I feel like the community has reached out and come and tried Killer Poboys. So if I know somebody's been and spent money at our shop, I want to go spend money with them, you know, and try out what they've got, you know, as long as they didn't like come back and say, hey, this shit sucked, like, you know, probably, you know, whatever. Maybe I can still go try out. I mean, on my radar right now. Where did we go recently?
Who's your favorite place?
We went
to
Eight
go?
Oysters last night, but
Yeah.
Sobu was that was cool.
Sobu,
you know,
yeah,
Sobu
okay.
was good. We've been meaning to go back to Restaurant Revolution and eat at the bar because it's close,
yeah,
and the
I
whole
like
staff.
that.
I mean, they come and drink. They're a gang. Like
And they're
12
just
o'clock,
doing an
the whole
amazing job.
restaurant
Yeah,
pours
yeah.
out into the Aaron Rose bar. So they're never there early enough to buy sandwiches, though. Strangely enough.
Ah.
But they're doing. I mean, what they do. They do food right. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
They don't cut corners.
They use
and that
really good
So you guys mostly
ingredients
walk to
and-
places, so you do places
But
like
see-
in the quarter mostly?
Well, we're trying to come uptown. There's so many
Right.
little small places that have opened since I was
Right.
in New York. You know, I mean, this whole boom of entrepreneurship, which is why I left New Orleans. Not that I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. It's just I couldn't find a job. I could find plenty of jobs, but I couldn't find a job that I wanted, you know, because all management had stayed. Like, chefs knew where their sous chefs were. The sous chefs were coming back, and I was ready to do something else. And, you know, nobody had those jobs. It was like, oh, come be a line cook with us. You know, I'm like, that's what I'm doing. Like, you know. So, yeah, I'd love to go. There's so many different places that are on my radar to go check out. It's not even funny. I just don't, you know, have the time to. Should get your advice. You've eaten at every place in New Orleans, right?
Not anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
I've fallen behind. As of
Fallen
October
behind.
2011, I could say that.
Oh,
but
shit.
yeah.
I heard there's
Yeah,
a new
catch up.
Colombian place in Central City that's really
Oh,
good. Have
really?
y'all heard about that?
It's in the old Surrey's Juice Bar spot on Dryads or something like that.
Yeah.
Mas Arepas. They were just reviewed in the Gambit, I
Oh,
think,
really?
a couple
Okay,
weeks
okay.
ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's walking distance for me. I can do that. That's about 5 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. The
Yeah.
review read pretty good, you know?
Cool.
So, yeah, I mean, there's a billion different places we want to go.
The Wizard of Oz is telling us that we're out
Wizard
of
of
time.
Oz, man. No disrespect.
Man, I
man.
didn't even get to. I have
I know.
2 pages of questions.
She has
I
to
should have
too.
written a friggin' I should have given you my bio.
No,
No,
you
no,
didn't
no,
need
no,
it. You
no,
didn't
no.
need it. That's
No,
great.
I tried to. I called. I said, Margot, this is me. This is what I did, but I was really like busy doing 10 other things. She's like, I'm not doing it like that. I'm like, fuck. All right.
No, we just wanted that so he could make a nice introduction, but we didn't need it.
Yeah, we don't
Okay.
need it.
I mean, we just wanted to get to know y'all, and we really appreciate what you're doing and want to support
Well, it's
that.
exciting, yeah.
and
When
Get to know you a little bit.
When me and
Gotta get
Rob were
over
doing the
there
podcasting,
fast.
I tried to like make sure that I had, you know, to keep it veered on. If you know,
Why don't you
sometimes
tell
guess-
people about that podcast too? Because tell everyone your hours and your
Yes.
location
Okay.
and
Yeah, yeah, I
everything,
got
and
that.
also about your podcast. Because I didn't
well,
get
I
to
don't
that.
really do it anymore because I don't have time. So
Okay.
I'm not really like a co-host and not volunteering co-hosting duties.
Okay.
I'll give it a shout out, but it's
Sure.
not really part
It's not really
of
yours
my
anymore.
current
Okay.
Just to
professional
support
life.
'em.
Yeah, but we can go
Oh,
back and
yeah,
listen
man,
to some
yeah.
of your old shows, though.
Rob's
Well, I'll
awesome.
support Rob. Go listen to some of our shows. We got some great shows. We did
What's it called?
It's called the NOLA Food Podcast, and he's still making podcasts. He recently was out, I think, at Chapalila Farms on the North Shore. I forgot some of his other guests, and we'll probably do it some more. We had some fun guests. Maybe who did we interview?
Well, y'all did Caleb Cook over
Yeah,
at St.
Caleb
Lawrence,
Cook at St.
which is
Lawrence.
one of
That
our
was a
favorite
good
places to eat.
Yeah, so there's friends of ours down there at St. Lawrence. If you
Y'all
guys have
did
been there
Leah?
on North Peters, we did our friend who is the chef of the Tulane Teaching Kitchen.
Leah
We
Saris.
just invited her to come on in May,
All right.
and she said, I said, well, you got to bring a mystery guest, and but don't. And she said she was going to bring you. I was like, well, I don't know. I think Cam might bring April, but you never know. I hope. But you can come back again.
Yeah, you can
Maybe
be a
we can
repeat
get more
guest.
information. You won't be a surprise, but I was really excited to hear.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We get to hear more.
No,
from
it's
you.
all
Her,
good.
All right, so tell us your hours. You're
right, so-
not open every moment that
I'll give
Aaron
you the
Rose is open. No.
I'll give you the spiel.
Okay.
We're separate from the Aaron Rose bar. We are cash only. You have to be 21 over to get in the bar. All right,
Right.
there's drinking, gambling,
So my
smoking,
kids cannot
present,
try your-
kids. You can pick. You can get a sandwich and bring it to your kid.
Okay.
Your kid can't come and get it from me. Unless we figure out so your kid keeps an envelope of money out there, and I know it'd be much easier if you're the intermediary. But you have to be 21 plus to drink because there's gambling machines in the bar.
Oh,
okay?
okay.
There's exposed gambling machines. You might hear a curse word. You might see a titty. It's the French Quarter, New Orleans. All right, so that's just. It's not a family environment, but it's not anti-family. It's a bar. You know,
All
if
right.
your family's all 21 plus, you're good to go.
So what
Sandwich
hours?
counter in a
12
bar.
to 12 Wednesday through Sunday.
12 to 12 Wednesday through
Yeah,
Sunday.
so we're open
Okay.
60 hours a week. We're trying
Wow.
we're trying to open up on Mondays at some point soon. So And we're at 811 Conti, back at the Aaron Rose Bar. And we're Killer Poboys, and we make new school Poboys, and that's what we do.
811. All right, thank you.
Thank you all
this
so
has been-
much.
Wow, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much. That's our show for tonight. Our special guests this evening were Cam Boudreau and April Bello, co-owners of Killer Poboy at Aaron Rose Bar at 817 Conti?
811 Conti.
811 Conti. You would have found it anyway. Thank you so much. Let's see. We had fabulous audio quality of the show. It was brought to you in part by PreSonus Audio Electronics. PreSonus makes some of the best audio recording and live recording products, including Studio One music production software, Studio Live digital mixing consoles, Aris studio monitors, and much more. Our show is live. It's recorded live at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne and Calhoun in Uptown New Orleans. Ted's is open 7 days a week, serving first-class burgers, beer, and their awesome homemade root beer in a frosty mug. Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Grant Morris, and Chris Keogh has been our technical director this evening. You can get in touch with us here at Midnight Menu Plus One by going to our website. It's neworleans.com. Already said that. Also follow us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook and our mailing list. While you're at itsneworleans.com, it's important that you also check out some of the other great shows in our network. Happy Hour, Mindset, True to the Game, Win-Win, and Out to Lunch. And you can also follow us on iTunes and subscribe there. Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. So we meet again here at Ted's Frost Top. I'm Ray Canado.
And I'm Margot Moss.
Good night.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potting mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. U.S. only.